Thank you, Cahirlach, and like the previous speaker, I too want to wish all my female colleagues and indeed all the women that I know a very happy International Women's Day. And today is about celebrating the role that women play in our lives. And we've heard from various contributions the very important role that they play in so many facets and so many sectors of our lives. And people have talked about very famous women that have gone before us, but I'm very fortunate to talk about the most positive female role model that I had, and that was my mother. A woman who worked full-time all her life, 41 years teaching, a woman who had 12 children and worked every day of her life, who stayed up every night knitting clothes because she couldn't afford always to buy clothes. And she made so many sacrifices in her life to ensure each of her children were gifted with the opportunity of education. And then when my sister and her daughter passed away, she took on the caring role for 4 grandchildren for a period after my sister sadly passed away. And I share that story today, one, because I'm immensely proud of my mother, but also because I often use the phrase, and it's widely used, the lottery of birth. I was very fortunate to be born into that family with such an inspirational woman as my mother. And there are so many people that aren't so fortunate. And I think we have a responsibility as legislators to stand up and ensure people who aren't as fortunate in life get the same chances. And one thing COVID did was COVID shone a light on another pandemic that's out there, and that is the pandemic of domestic abuse. And I think we need, as a society, and we need the political system to address this and look how the system responds to the needs of these particular vulnerable women. And we know that the government strategy of zero tolerance is built on the 4 pillars of the Istanbul Convention: prevention, protection, prosecution and policy coordination. And the 363 million that will double the refuge spaces and the establishment of the statutory agency for domestic, sexual and gender-based violence by the beginning of next year is very welcome. But last week, coincidentally, I had it arranged, I forgot that this International Women's Day was coming today, but last week, coincidentally, I visited Esker House in Athlone, and I met the management team, such passionate, dedicated women who are helping and empowering other women every day of the week. And they talked about the 11 other staff that are working with them and the service that that centre provides. The refuge service, but also the day service and the children and the young people service. And I must say, it was such an informative meeting, and I learned a lot from it. And they talked about bringing women and children into a refuge is not the answer. Clearly, it has a very important role to play at a particular time, and it's a critical intervention at a particular time. But they talked about the wraparound services and putting in place the necessary supports, because prevention is far better than the cure. And not alone that, but in terms of the long-term economic gain. You know, if we make the right interventions at an early stage, we're saving long-term in areas of mental health and addiction, in the justice system, the court service, the prison service. And I was very pleased to hear them talking about businesses coming forward to them, looking for domestic violence awareness. How can we spot potential women in our own environments that might be under coercion or under some type of abuse? And in a number of weeks' time, Minister Rabbitte, senior executives from TUSLA are bringing forward deputies and Oireachtas members from Dublin and Mid-Leinster. And I look forward to having a very frank and open debate.
Thank you, Deputy.
Where in certain instances good work has been done,
Thank you,
but
Deputy.
in certain instances
And
where we are failing vulnerable people very badly.
Next is the 6.5.